Today I have something a little different. I wanted to do a series of advice from friends and family for people who have trans people newly in their lives. My first guest is going to be my dad, Miguel Angel. Going to be sharing his experience and his advice, especially for other fathers who are in this situation.
I'm Miguel Angel Pimentel I, Paco from Peru, which means initiated and trained into the ways of ceremonial and rituals from the Andes. Also, I'm a Chanupa carrier and Inipi person who has been also initiated and trained in the Lakotas. And my passion is theater. I create, write, teach, produce everything in theater. I love filming. That's something that we really share. I could be all day watching movies.
My first question is, what was your first exposure to trans people, be it in the media or in person?
Almodovar from Spain is the best one, you know. It was the first who really put the trans people on big screen and with intelligence, humor, capacity.
When did you see that movie?
Tacos Lejanos with Miguel Bosé.
When did you watch that?
When I was a theater student.
Okay, so you did know of trans people, just not in person. So
I
that
was
was
exposed to...
through this filmmaking.
Yeah. And then when you born, actually, because you born in Las Vegas, so I went to see the most hilarious, intelligent trans persons shows.
Drag or
Yeah,
comedy?
drag queen.
Oh, okay. And that was your first time seeing drag? Maybe not. What was your exposure or experience with gay, lesbian, queer, trans people before I came out?
Well, in my life, almost none. So when I was living in Lima, Peru, studying theater, that's my first exposure to gay people. And before, just people that will have a hairstyle place in Cusco.
Okay. And then, did you know any trans people before I came out?
No.
What were your first reactions and how has that evolved in the 2+ years?
I think for me it was like a process in terms that you came out little by little. You came out first as a gay person, then a non-binary, and at the end as a trans woman. It was a surprise because I didn't see you feminine in my normal life since you came. Even when you were gay and non-binary and even using feminine clothes with your beard, it was fun for me and I felt special. So maybe that's not the normal thing for parents feeling about having a trans woman daughter. But for me, in the walk of life that I have, it's more like, oh, this is another expression of the diversity of sacred human, you know. And as I told you, I admire you because I know that, first of all, you always was clear into being against being a follower of the system. You have a very good mind and critic sense of what are really not well in our world. But besides that, even going farther and assuming you trans woman being, for me just cause admiration.
What would be your advice to other parents when and if their kid comes out or if they start to experiment with gender? And
I will say be grateful that your son or daughter is becoming more clear of who he or she is, because we sometimes pass through life without not even knowing who we are. So when a person make a clear decision of accepting themselves as a trans person, I think it's something really, really powerful rather than something to be ashamed or worry. So I will say that you just need to see deep into your heart to really see your daughter or your son trans as more sacred than before.
And what advice would you give specifically to fathers of trans daughters who might have a very specific idea of manhood and have a certain sense of masculinity that maybe their father gave to them?
I think it's really important to have a practice of spirituality. Without that, since the social construction doesn't allow us to even imagine about trans people, it's really important to engage in certain spirituality practice to recognize is that there is not just one belief, because most of the time people who has such a strong things about malehood and femininehood and they don't accept anything else are really people who are related with strong religion structures that doesn't allow more than that. And I think that if you're a father that loves your children, you have to stretch yourself, your social construction, and open your heart, your mind to grow. Because actually what a transgender son or daughter brings to you is the possibility to grow to a higher state of being. So the possibility to be better than you are. So that's why it's a gift, and I don't see it as a problem. But for you, that you see it as a problem or something that you cannot know how to handle, please look for a spiritual practice that will allow you to go deeper into yourself, your heart, rather than your mind. Really, really see yourself and that gift that your trans daughter or son is bringing to you and your whole family.
You grew up and live in a very religious society, but for people who think it's like morally wrong.
My mom is totally conservative Catholic person. She's 91 years old. Doesn't make sense to talk to her about Maya because she's at the end of her life. She wouldn't be open to be a higher self. Actually, Catholic religion is a structure that allows her to be alive, happy today. So why should I put in the stress to her? So I don't need to expose that to her. But if you're a father or a mother, it's not possibility to avoid it. That will be like denying your own self, which it doesn't make sense. Why do you live if you cannot be with yourself? So accepting your trans son or your trans daughter, it's a deeper journey to the real self of you and to grow and really become a more loving being that this world needs. They are medicine for us, and it has been medicine for centuries. Many native cultures, when they have a trans person or a dual person, they always look them in the community as more sacred beings.
How would you say the relationship between a father and a son, and how does it change between a father and a daughter?
I cannot talk about that much yet because this is new. You are 27 and this is close to 3 years of your existence. So for me, having you as a son for 24 years, it's been a wonderful experience. And I always admire you, your way to be, think. So when you come out as a trans woman, it was not a shock for me. But at the same time, I'm far away to see you as a woman yet, because I live far away from you. We don't see on daily basis. It's very new for me. But the thing that I can say is that you are more beautiful each day. And so, wow, I always wanted to have a daughter, because I had 4 sons. So now I have a daughter. So now I'm a little bit proud that I don't need to say that I don't know how to make women. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm very excited about the journey of seeing you and admiring you as a woman. But it will be a lie to say that I'm there, because it has to be experience. It's not a mind work.
How do you tell your friends or your peers? Like maybe there's a parent who has done the work and can figure it out, but then it's harder when they have to tell other people about it.
Since I live in Peru, Latin America, a very conservative and machismo country, on one hand, I want to be open and help trans people in Cusco and create a social project of it and be in the avant-garde of my society. I'm willing and hoping that, but at the same time, when I'm in a group of people that they are far away to understand that, I don't need to say that I have a trans daughter until I have a more intimate conversation. When we become together, even though that he's a macho man and all that.
Your friend.
But become a friend and someone that it's related with me in the heart and not in the mind. Then when I said I have a trans daughter, even that he's far away from that, this man, he will hear and I see their admiration that that how I could be so happy and in peace with it. So then I think I'm opening something in their heart. I don't think that trans people needs to be tolerated. They just need to be accepted as any other human being. So I do my little work when I see a little entrance for it. But if not, I don't need to. But sometimes I even brag that I have a trans woman daughter, you know?
You mentioned you had a friend, and once you were able to share about me, they were able to share about their trans daughter.
It was amazing when he saw my peacefulness and my place to be in full acceptance of Maya. They were like, wow, really? It's like for them in their construction and their psyche and emotionally, they are still battling, you know. Should I accept this or not? So when they saw me in such a place of acceptance and happy, I saw them hope, saying, oh, I'm not the only one. Oh, this is okay. Oh, I could even love more my trans son or daughter. I don't need to make this a problem. And so we talk a little bit how in our society sometimes we don't need to publicize, but at the same time we don't need to be shame or guilt about anything.
Do you know anything about how the Quechua or Inca or pre-Columbian cultures view gender?
I don't have information about that, but I believe, as any other society in the human existence, people like you have been here always. It was religion who really create this social construction to make believe others that you're not part of what it should be a human, you know, which it's so weird. It's like going back in the 1500s and Inquisition time, you know. It's, for me, it's really unthinkable to go back there.
Okay. Any other advice for moms or dads, and or anything else you want to add?
Please don't go through this by yourself, because then you're just gonna have a dialogue with your mind, and that's gonna be very painful, stressful. Look, San Google is great. You just put help for trans people, parents, help, and there's so much already. So just be open to create the possibility of becoming a better human being, because that's what I least in my experience is to become conscious that I have a trans woman daughter. Really bring me to a deeper place and a higher way to be in this planet.
Thanks so much for watching. If you have any questions for Miguel, you can leave them below and I'll send them his way. I'll see you guys.